enough to talk about, so this is going to end up being a pretty short one. I'll let we start getting in, talking about Borderlands 4.
Well, that's gonna be a short conversation.
You ain't played, did you?
I ain't playing it
at all. You won't?
I'm not buying that game until they fix it, bro.
Oh, we gonna have an actually long conversation then.
I'm not buying that game until they buy it, bro. You know how much I love Borderlands, but I gotta stand on principle, bro. That there is the fact that.
Yo, what is up? This is DPS Podcast. That's Damage Per Second Podcast, episode 243. And we are not back on a Thursday night, but we are feeling all right. This is Friday night. Just a day later. Unfortunately, I had to do a lot of work last night, so I wasn't able to go live at the usual time with my co-host over there, Gaming Forte. How's it going, man?
It's going, man. It's good. How you been, man? You know, it's been very tumultuous couple of like 24 hours. depending on the type of games you've been playing. But
well,
we'll talk about that too. But you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's just get into it. You know, we'll get into what we've been playing. I didn't for those who may not be here for the first time, SloMoBackSlap. And I am a Borderlands-aholic. Since the last episode, I didn't start Borderlands 1 since in the past week, but I did finish it. I was close to the end, and it just took me a couple of hours to finish it. I then played through Borderlands, the pre-sequel, which is what you see the gameplay of right now on the Jumbotron. Nice. That took me about 17 hours using Nisha. And turned out like I think she's probably the best playable character in the pre-sequel. And then I played through Borderlands 2. Actually, sorry, not 2. Yeah, 2. I played through 2. That time, what I did was I didn't start with a completely fresh character. I used one of my other characters and just started over in true Vault Hunter mode. Wait, did I do that? No, my bad. No, that's what I did with Borderlands 3, but I didn't get a chance to finish it. With Borderlands 2, I used the Gunzerker. And I think I beat that at the lowest level I've ever beaten Borderlands 2. It was like level 26 or something like that. It was very, very low. weirdly enough, with the pre-sequel, I didn't get a single legendary drop. Not one. With Borderlands 2, I knew how to easily get the B shield. And so I got the B shield as quickly as I could. And I also got the Hellfire SMG because I did the mission that guarantees you that, as well as the Flame of the Firehawk shield. But you know, those were like really low level. And then I also got Moxie's guns to kind of help me out to get it completed. But that took probably about 15 hours.
Damn.
So like I said, I've been grinding Borderlands hard. Pause. And so all that said, I ended up not being able to complete them all before Borderlands 4 came out. I probably could have potentially, because with the Borderlands 3, I just chose one of my like lowest level characters, which was Amara, and I was going to just do the True Vault Hunter mode. And I was significant. I probably was like a quarter of the way through the game when I found out that PC players could play Borderlands 4 a day early. And so I said, you know what? It's over. I didn't make it in time. But I'll get more into my impressions of Borderlands 4 later. That's literally all I've played with any free time I've had this week. I haven't played anything else. It's just been Borderlands games. Forte, what have you been playing?
Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight so great. Hard as heck.
No. Okay, that's great, but like you've been playing something else.
Oh, what else I've been playing? Oh Lord. I finally made it out of the tutorial level of Death Stranding. I killed a couple of BTs. I left some loot on the ground because I was trying to get up out of there.
Like he didn't even remember that he did it.
Man, I
and that was like 2 days ago.
2 days ago, I literally forgot that I played that game.
Not only did you forgot that you played the game, you forgot you were supposed to play it. So for everyone that's listening now, if y'all remember just a week ago.
Yep, just a week ago.
Just a week. It was all good. Just a week ago. Just a week ago.
It was all
Forte,
just a week ago. I was like,
Forte, when are you going to be available? You tell me what time to schedule.
I said
your
Wednesday,
stream.
8 p.m. last week.
Mm-hmm.
Sure did. I did say it.
Wednesday, 7 p.m. No, 7:30 p.m. actually, because I got the notification that the stream was about to start, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Forte stream." And then I remembered who I was dealing with, and I said, "Let me go hit this guy up and make sure that he's remembers what he's supposed to be doing." And as I was about to text him, I said, you know what? Let me not text him. Let me call him. Because if I text him, he ain't gonna see it until Friday.
You're learning.
So I call him.
Answer right away.
He answers right away.
Sure
and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, what you mean what's going on? What you doing? Nothing. What you doing? I'm looking at the notification that you're supposed to be streaming Death Stranding. Oh
no, you were you were like, aren't you? He said, aren't you supposed to be doing? He said, don't you supposed to be doing something today? I was like what? He said, I'm looking at notification that you're supposed to be like streaming today. I was like, what? He's like, Death Stranding. I was like, oh. And then I proceeded to like go down the list of every reason why this was going to be an impossibility. I had literally broke my P. Like I did say break it down. I didn't break it down. I just disassembled all the cables.
This man tried to say, man, my PC in pieces right now. I said in pieces. What you mean in pieces? You literally took your PC apart? He was like, nah, not really. I just unhooked all the cables. Bros.
Yeah, I literally, because I was redoing.
That's a completely different thing.
I was literally redoing it, like my desk setup and redoing my cable management. So I had literally had my tower. And this is the thing. I was upstairs in the bedroom, like looking at my phone, like looking at YouTube videos on my phone, and then slow-mo calls. And I was so trust me, I was not in any type of mode or idea that this stream was happening. It did. he tells me that. I was like, my mind literally fast forward to me taking all the cables out of my PC and sitting it on the desk next to my bigger desk. And I'm like, dang, my PC's not even hooked up. Like if anybody knows, that's the reason my camera wasn't on, because I literally didn't even have my camera hooked up on the tripod. Everything was taken apart. That's why I wasn't on camera on that day. So yeah, but guess what? There was no way I could wiggle out of that one. I was like, God dang it. I said, I just got to go hook my PC up. And I actually did start to stream like pretty much real close to on time. I think I started streaming at like 8:10 or 8:05 or something like that. So,
but the fact that you were like, how do I weasel out of this? The fact that was like
Death Stranding.
But you said you were enjoying it.
Oh no, you know the funny thing is, after I did that stream, I actually did enjoy it a little bit, because you actually it was like the most interaction I had when it came to combat in that game so far. And granted, it's the end. I fought the whale BT that I left the gear behind. No, the end of the game. No, the end of the tutorial mission. And
like a 30-hour tutorial mission.
Man, that's pretty wild, bro, ain't it? It's pretty wild, bro. It probably isn't that long. I think the game says I got 11. It says I have 10 hours or just under 10 hours of gameplay. I would probably say if I knew what I was doing playing that game. But then again, you got to kind of take it as a person that just picks the game up and doesn't know anything about it. Now, I was lollygagging around a lot, so I'll chalk about 2.5 to 3 hours of just BSing around in the game and, falling and chasing stuff down rivers and stuff. We'll be conservative and say 3 hours, probably 4. But the fact that the tutorial mission is at least 5 to 6 hours long is crazy. Crazy.
Some people say it's genius.
No.
It's insanity.
Now you get to the part where I'm at now, and you got on the boat and everything, and they beat you over the head with "meet me on the beach." I'll be here on the beach. Find me on the beach. When they tell you the beach like 15 different times, like
boy, every time you say that, I think about Half Baked, and I just want to say boy every time.
Boy, the beach, boy.
From the beach, boy.
From the beach, boy.
Okay, all right.
But no, I definitely am going to jump back in there and do, because I do want to, because now that I got past that part, and got a chance to at least see what the action feels like, it's actually pretty cool. But I still ain't seen the face of God. That's still.
I don't think you will.
I don't think so either. That was the whole argument. Would you see the face of God, and would he shine down from the golden arches of heaven itself?
See, the Kojima cappers have the perfect argument for everything. It's very like well thought out. I'll explain it. So
please do.
You play Death Stranding. It's going to change your life. You're going to see the face of God. You're going to realize what the point of life is. You're going to learn about yourself, who you really are, and then you will become a Kojima cultist. You will, pay homage to Kojima. You'll give tithes and offerings and all that good stuff. And if you don't, well, this is where the beauty in it is. If you don't feel that way, then clearly you're just not special enough to understand. See, you don't get it, because only the enlightened can truly appreciate what Death Stranding does. You see, if you don't get that, then you're just one of the dim ones out there that just won't get anything. See, like this is the mentality that they have. And so you just got to ignore them and just kind of like hope they just drink the Kool-Aid at some point and stop bothering you, which probably is going to happen any day now. But anywho, I one more thing I wanted to speak on, due to some information that came out today. I am the new owner of a Nintendo Switch 2.
What's going? I tried to. Aren't you happy you got it before the price went up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was getting a little concerned. I was like, Nintendo, come on, man. You better not raise this price before you give me what I'm looking for. And see, some of y'all thought I was going to bend the knee, but instead, Nintendo bent the knee to me.
They knew they had you all the whole time. You just didn't know it.
There were conditions upon me giving them money.
That condition was already.
I'm just not.
That condition has been met years ago when they put that game in development. They said it was coming out this year.
Well, they didn't say it to me until today. It was coming out this year.
You just didn't know that it was coming out until today.
Well, we're not going to get into details.
You ran to the store and bought you a Switch 2. Which one did you get? The Mario Kart bundle? Because that's probably all you can find.
There's only one I can find, yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll get into what that game is in a little bit later. You ready to get into these rapid fire topics, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Well.
Oh, really?
Xbox has announced that they will be doing a stream for the Tokyo Game Show on September 25th of this month, of course, because it's September, right? Mm-hmm. Tokyo Game Show, of course, is the big gaming event. Xbox is always there if you think about it, but they normally don't really have much to say when they're there. They normally don't have much to do when they're there. They just kind of show some games that they may have that might actually be interesting to the Japanese audience, but I think they might have something a little different, that the Japanese audience might be a little bit more intrigued by than the norm. And don't mind that I'm playing some Forza Horizon gameplay. There's no reason for that, But Forte, what are your thoughts on the Tokyo Game Show? Anything that you anticipate seeing?
The fact that, the worst kept secret ever, that there will be a new Forza Horizon announced that will be taking place in Tokyo. And
in Tokyo?
In Tokyo, Japan, and the fact that I also believe
Forza
that
Horizon
this is
Forza Horizon in Japan.
In Japan.
Wow.
And guess what? It's probably is most likely going to get announced and talked about at the showcase there that they're going to do.
Wow. In the same country.
In the same country.
That is amazing.
Absolutely.
Where'd you hear that?
Little birdie. Couple of little birdies. Little birdie.
Oh. Yeah.
Probably the same.
You have all the sources.
You
have all the sources for it.
Listen. Little birdie told me, a little birdie told a birdie, and then that birdie came to me and was like, chirp, 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 chirp.
Man, that is amazing. That is amazing. I'm completely dumbfounded, shocked.
I don't know why you'd be dumbfounded, because this was like you could see this from a mile away.
Oh, I mean, not for me. No, I didn't know. I had no idea. No,
yeah, you didn't know. You didn't know either.
Maybe.
I thought you were more. You're more sourced than I am, though.
I don't know what you mean, sir. No one told me anything a day before it came out. No one told me nothing.
The day before it came out.
So anyway, so outside. Let me stop Mr. Rant. Outside of Forza Horizon 6 in Japan being shown there, the worst kept secret in the world.
Worst kept secret in the world.
Anything else you anticipate seeing at the show?
Honestly, when it comes to Japan, because they already went heavy when it came to Persona with a lot of stuff for Persona. I know last year they that's when we got, I think that's where we got like Persona 3 Reloaded. That's when they announced that games like that was coming to Xbox Game Pass. So I do expect to see probably some games around that ilk being announced for more partnerships when it comes to Xbox. I also think there's going to be see, I can't say that because I don't want people to say, I don't want people to string us up on a pedestal and say, you guys don't know what you're talking about. So I don't know, man. It's a lot of things. It's a lot. I'm just saying. There's a lot of.
We just saying predictions. We're not saying leak. We're not like, hey, look, this is what you're going to see.
I mean, it could be anything there. I mean, probably gonna be. It's gonna be some Final Fantasy stuff there. Finally that you're gonna get some announcements probably around Final Fantasy.
That kind of makes sense, right? That kind of makes sense considering that there's some of the news that we're going to talk about today that. They make an announcement of Final Fantasy like remake or, maybe even Tactics or something, right?
Like Tactics or something like that.
Yeah, because that's, it's a Japanese game from Square Enix, even though it's not as popular as it used to be. But that would make a lot of sense. I have some thoughts, right? And this is more of just...
What's your thoughts?
This isn't like, I know I was messing around earlier. This is definitely nothing that I've heard. This is just more of like me... Like, because every time they do their stream for Tokyo Game Show, I watch it. Typically, for some reason, this time of year, I'm always like extra busy at work. And a lot of my clients are overseas. So I end up being awake and working at odd hours. Every time the Tokyo Game Show has been happening, and different time zone, so it's a odd hour, right? I think every year but one I have had to be up for work, and I've been watching it as it's streamed while I'm working. And I just, based upon that, there's a common theme of things that Xbox typically does when they do these events. And they're always talking because Japan's very mobile centric, and the Nintendo Switch like is like rules the region, like they run it over there. So Xbox always really pushes xCloud, really pushes you'll see like really like specifically designed commercials where they're like showing people using quote unquote Xbox, not the console, but like mobile, and using like a Razer Kishi connected to your mobile phone or a tablet and playing games that way, that kind of thing, right? So I can see them promoting more of that. They got this Xbox Ally that's coming out soon. I can see them definitely kind of pushing a little bit more of information about that device, maybe potentially a price in Japan. Maybe not a price that is going to be reflected outside of that region, but definitely maybe potentially just that region, or just showing it off there as they showed it off at Gamescom, and potentially maybe showing their next the ROG Rikiri controller that Asus is making. That's supposed to be the official Xbox controller of the Xbox ROG Ally, all that kind of stuff. So I assume that's going to be a big focus for them, in addition to a particular game that, just so happens to be the worst kept secret ever, right?
Worst kept secret ever. No, I think if I had to throw some games out there that are already announced, because I do think there's going to be games that's already announced for other platforms outside of like Final Fantasy and stuff like that will probably get announced to be coming to Xbox. I can see Final Fantasy Tactics or something like that. I can see a game like.
You think there's any partner deals with, like, say, Sega that they may have been working on behind the scenes that they might actually be able to market and say, hey, look, you could play this very popular IP that everyone knows of in Japan. You can play that on Xbox now, that kind of thing, outside of Final Fantasy, of course. But like, you think there's anything else that they may have in the tuck?
I mean, there's a whole bunch of games that they could do. Like, even if you think about games that, think about Ghost of Yotai that's coming out later this year for Xbox, for PlayStation. I can see something like the Neo Collection that has only been available on PlayStation and PC, something like that, where it's not in the same vein, but it still hones back to like that Soul Samurai style type game that they can that could probably get announced and released there. And something that they're probably going to announce for the Xbox.
Ooh, Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden 4 is definitely going to be there. Ninja Gaiden 4 is going to be there.
Yeah, they probably going to have a big focus on that.
Yeah, that's gonna be there 100%.
You got Team Ninja, you got Platinum. There's two Japanese developers working on the game together, and they in conjunction with the publishing of Microsoft. I can see them really pushing that almost as much as they'll be pushing Forza Horizon 6 in Japan. I think that might be I think that might be a bet.
If I had to throw like one against the wall that I would hope happens for just a friend, 30th anniversary, Chrono Trigger's coming up. Chrono Trigger Chrono Cross remaster.
Don't do that. Don't do that to me. Don't do that.
30th anniversary, Chrono Trigger, and Chrono Cross.
I don't want to get my hopes up. We're not seeing anything Chrono Trigger.
Listen, 30th anniversary, dog. You only turned 31 year.
Everybody been talking about Final Fantasy 9, and we still ain't seen that yet. I do not want to hear anything about a Chrono Trigger. I do not want to get triggered by
because it's about
seeing a Chrono Trigger.
It's about that time that it's been about that time. And if you ain't gonna do it for the 30th anniversary, then when are you gonna do it?
Never. Square Enix to me never seems to have their finger on the pulse of what gamers want. Like they just never do, and so I do not think that they value Chrono Trigger as much as a lot of people do.
As much as fans.
If they did, I think they would have put a bigger focus on it over the years. But I don't think they care. Anything else you want to say on this before we move on to the next one? Okay.
That's it.
Well. NVIDIA has upgraded GeForce Now Ultimate tier to the RTX 5080 as of last Tuesday, according to Tom Warren of The Verge. And previously, the GPU that you would use in the cloud with GeForce Now was RTX 4080, which is pretty beefy. Them upgrading to the 5080 makes sense. They always seem to, when they come out with a new generation at some point, they will upgrade to not the 90s version, not the flagship card, but they will do the step down from that, which is definitely good enough, right? And so, today I said, I forgot to drop my subscription back to the free tier. I do this all the time. I basically been playing for GeForce Now Ultimate for the past 3 months, and without using it. So I said, before I finally do this downgrade, let me go try it out. Let me see what kind of frames I'm getting, right? Especially like I was going to do it for Borderlands 4, but I ran into some sync issues, and so I wasn't able to try it for Borderlands 4, especially considering how the performance has been. I wanted to see how a 5080 was going to perform it. And unfortunately I wasn't able to do so, but I did do Cyberpunk. And as I'm playing Cyberpunk, I said, let me turn on, let me hit the shortcut to turn on statistics within the game. And guess what I saw, Forte? It's still a 4080. So I don't know what the heck's going on with NVIDIA, but I have the ultimate tier. and I'm still using a 4080 in the cloud. Now, I don't know if that is because I remember if, let's say there's too many people on GeForce Now at the time, you're supposed to get first priority for the 4080, but if you can't because there's too many people playing, they would have put you on a 3080. So I wonder if just it was peak time or whatever, and I didn't get access to a 5080, and so they gave me a 4080 instead, which was just fine. I mean, it's what I have on my rig, so it's not like a 4080 Super. It's basically the same card, so it wasn't that big deal with the game. It ran fine. I was just kind of perturbed that it wasn't the 5080. I'll give it another shot in a couple of days. Maybe I'll do it at a really odd time of day so that I know it isn't like a ton of people on it, and I'll see how it goes then. But Forte, what do you think about NVIDIA putting 5080s in GeForce Now?
I mean, it was going to happen at some point. It just really comes down to like what it was the price point going to change on it. Because they are dedicating more powerful hardware to that. But in general, it makes sense, especially when it comes to like their whole delivery around AI. Plus, they want to make it seem like because the perception out there is that with the move over to like AI based gaming, when it comes to like the overall ability to like run the game, not really relying on rationalization to do stuff like that. By them upgrading and saying, listen, we can do the same thing that we were able to do with 4080s and 3080s and everything that we had inside of that cloud network, and we can still achieve the same output that we were doing there. So this is a really, really good move. I will still say that, like we talked about in the stream last week, native rationalization inside of gaming is kind of over. AI is kind of everywhere when it comes to that, and you can see it in not just the movement in NVIDIA stocks, but just a lot of other corporations moving in that direction. So it makes sense that this is happening. I mean, they are like leaders in that industry in tech, and this is just another way to like get a lot of data, because the biggest thing that this does is it shows them like exactly what they need to do in order to like what the next generation is going to look like, so we're going to stress this one out with the 5080, have it in there for people to like be able to enjoy high-end gaming, on whatever device that they're playing on, at the price that we want it to be at. And it also gives the ability to stress the servers and everything to see what we can do, or what we can actually enhance later on in next generations, because this is where gaming is going. It's getting there a little quicker than most of us ever thought. I think PC will still be the bedrock of what gaming is, but the more and more powerful these instances get when it comes to just the overall ability to play your games in a server like this, is kind of going to muddy the waters a lot. And then, the only people that really think about stuff like this is our generation, because we grew up with normal gaming, which we consider normal gaming, which is turning on a TV, turning on a PC, turning on your console,
Basically,
and playing the
native
game.
resolution.
Yep.
And your hardware, your GPU is rendering the frames that your CPU is instructing it to render.
To see. Exactly.
And now at this point we have NVIDIA what do they call it? 4X multi-frame generation on the 5000 series cards, where to simplify it as simple as I can, for every rendered frame, you're seeing 3 generated frames with frame generation. And so the GPU is creating frames to kind of simulate, higher frame rates, which is interesting because the next game we're going to talk about seems to be using it as a crutch.
Okay.
You ready to get into that topic?
Yes, sir.
Forte?
Let's do it.
Let's talk about Borderlands 4. And so before I get into my misgivings with Borderlands 4, I want to just kind of discuss that, like, as far as the content goes, as far as the developers there go. I do have to tip my hat off to the devs for seemingly doing what I was a bit pessimistic that they would be able to do, which is actually deliver content-wise on the Borderlands game that Borderlands fans were looking for. I think there are some things with Borderlands and the previous Borderlands games that have been habits of the developer that people were kind of sick of.
Right.
People were sick of the story following the same kind of story beats from Borderlands 2. People were sick of them trying to emulate every villain or trying to emulate Handsome Jack. People were sick of the same UI. People were sick of the poor optimization, which is, we're going to get back to that. But like, people were kind of sick of a lot of things. And the fact that Borderlands 3, the last game in the mainline series, didn't do enough different from Borderlands 2 to really set itself apart. In addition to having a really terrible story. And so far I can say, I'll start with the story. It's not following the same story beats of 2 and 3, which is a plus in my book already. I've been playing about 9 to 10 hours already so far. I'm level where I'm at currently right now. I think I'm level 13 or 14 with the Siren. I have yet to see a single one of the previous Vault Hunters. Like, the story almost feels, and I know they're in the game because they kind of showed, when they did the state of play with PlayStation, that like they showed that some of the other Vault Hunters do show up. So they are there, but it not being focused on them and kind of moving on from making like Lilith or strictly Sirens the focus, I think is a good move on their part. The new villain his name is called the Timekeeper. I don't know who this voice actor's name is, but I can tell he's a black man. He just has like that gravitas in his voice, like he you can tell that's a black dude.
That's a black dude.
And I like him so far. So like, to not get into spoilers, essentially, like they focused on one planet again, but it's not Pandora. So the first 2 games focused strictly on Pandora. Borderlands 3 is all over the place, Pandora and a bunch of other planets. They're now back to one planet whose name escapes me right now, so forgive me on that. But this guy, the Timekeeper, the villain, he basically runs this planet. And he takes people and he puts like this almost like you could say it's like a collar, but it actually is like this triangle shaped device that he sticks on the back of your neck that connects your neck and your spine, and he can control people through it. And if you try to resist it or take it off, it could either drive you insane, or he could do a lot of things with it. He could control people. He can make people do things they don't want to do. And a lot of the enemies that you end up running into are people who have been kind of unfortunately put in those kind of situations. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic. He's not trying to hit you with funny jokes all the time. Everyone can't be Handsome Jack. And frankly, you don't want everyone to be Handsome Jack. He was kind of one of a kind. And I like the fact that they have a different vibe with this villain. And he's kind of menacing while also not like coming off corny, So that's good. the Vault Hunters, I've only used the Siren yet, and she's dope. I like her. I like the skill trees. I like the change they made with them, where each branch of the skill tree can branch off into 3 different sub branches. So it makes it so there's a lot more versatility starting out versus kind of like with other Borderlands games where you eventually get other Vault Hunters or that you could, build up if you want, or an additional, with Borderlands 3, an additional skill tree to go to your current skill tree, which from what I and almost everyone else I know of did, they just basically they didn't really build for those new skill trees that they added in Borderlands 3. They just kind of added what they thought would work as a supplement to what they were already doing. So I think that's a lot of that stuff is good so far. The open world looks nice. Visually, I mean, it's cel-shaded, so it's not like it's going to look bad. The art direction is what people expected. But I'm liking it so far. Oh yeah, Claptrap is in this, and he's probably the only character that once you first start playing, give it like you get out of the tutorial phase, you run into him, but he's not like everywhere. And he's not overbearing if you can't stand Claptrap. So there's that. I streamed it yesterday for an hour. And yeah, I basically streamed the tutorial phase, which is the kind of starts you out and you pick your Vault Hunter. That was good. But we gotta start talking about the performance now. So,
Speak King.
To sum up this performance, before we went live today, I saw a tweet from Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox. He's the CEO of Gearbox, a purveyor of medieval times and a part-time magician. But what he is not is someone who understands PC technology, because he put out a tweet with a clip from a content creator who was, he claimed, giving people tips on getting their PC rigs to play the game better. When you watch the clip, all the guy is saying to do is to turn on DLSS upscaling, put it down to performance, and turn on FrameGen. I thought he was about to say, hey, if you turn off ambient occlusion, you get like 30 frames, something to do in the meantime while they optimize their game. Instead, he's just promoting people to turn on frame generation, which is something that I have a issue with, because frame generation was never designed or intended to be the crutch to make sure that your game was in a playable state at launch. If your game needs frame generation to be over 60 frames per second, that's a problem. When you show your recommended specs, and for recommended, you have a RTX 3080 GPU as the recommended GPU for your game, but that 3080 can't play this game at 60 FPS without frame generation.
Right.
Like, this game is wildly unoptimized. And Borderlands 3 came out unoptimized, but it wasn't as bad as this. Now, when I played it, streamed it, I started out with 4K DLSS balance, because I already heard some things about its performance, and I said, let me just go with balance. Now I'll bump it up to quality if I need to. 4K DLSS balance with FrameGen on, and I was getting like 60 to 80 frames per second. But then as I started playing longer, I started to notice when I got into fights, my frame rate would dip below 60 FPS. It'd be in the 50s during a fight. Then as I got into the open world, it would stay in the 50s, then drop to the 40s. It says frame generation on. And so I turn frame gen off, and it was in the 30s, the high 30s, without frame generation, with a 4080 Super, 64 gigs of RAM. I have a SN850X Western Digital Black storage, and an i7 13700K CPU.
Mm-hmm.
For this to be my performance, disgusting. Like it's in I was streaming, so because typically what I do at this point, I start tinkering. I start like turning stuff off, lowering shadows. The first thing I normally do is lower shadows because they're sometimes a bit overrated. Like just medium shadows is fine, honestly. And then the performance you get for having ultra or very high shadows is just not worth it. So, I typically do things like that. Then I start like messing around, finding out which settings actually have very little difference in the quality, but you get much more performance back. But I didn't have time to do that because I'm streaming, and I only had very limited time because I had to get back to work. So I just dropped it from 4K to 1440p as the target frame rate, and then moved the DLSS to the quality. In Forte, somehow I had 120 frames per second.
Yep. And when I get to my part, and I'm not gonna lie, I read your post, and that's when I came to the decision that I came to.
and what decision is that, sir?
That I'm not buying this game until they fix that. The fact that watching your stream, like I said, I can see that there were issues with it, but it wasn't like it was running horrible or anything. It wasn't like it wasn't like to the point where I'm sitting there like, oh, this is unplayable. It's not.
You got a better GPU than me, so
exactly.
You would get a little bit more frames than I'm currently getting right
but
now.
And then I was sitting there like, I was super excited. I was like, I'm gonna go home, go play some Borderlands, and then I saw your tweet, and then when you said how bad it was, you said, I'm running at 4K. Free gen on, and I could barely get 60. The fact that you had to lower your resolution to 1440p with a 4080 just to get and not just to hit 60. For some reason, you just doubled your frame rate all of a sudden. It's like, so what's going on at 4K? Now, this is the thing. I don't even play at 4K. I play at 3K, could I have an ultra wide monitor? But it's still a simple fact of the matter that, like, I get tired of games releasing day one and they expect us to, like, pay full money for their game without having the full game actually working the way it should work. And at a certain point, it's like, I watched you play it. And like I said, was it horrible watching you play it? No, you were having fun. You were definitely having fun, but watching, like I said, your tweet literally told me everything I needed to know. I read it while I was at work, and I was like, yep, I'll wait. Now, that's not saying I'm not going to buy the game, because I will buy the game at some point. SloMo could probably convince me to buy the game at some point today if he does a good enough job, because I really do want to play the game. But it's at a certain point where I'm sitting there like, bro, we're giving these corporations and I don't want to take anything from the devs or anything like that. A lot of this stuff has something to do with the C-suite, where they just want these games out because they want to start recouping the money that they have. They look at the timetable of all the other games that's coming out, releasing around it, and they kind of want to get their game out before other games can take bites out of that apple. And I get that. But can we have a game that for once, we don't have to worry about when we boot it up, and we could just turn on our game and it just works the way that it's supposed to work? If I have frame gen on, I'm getting way more than the frames. I should be getting. I remember the days where they told you not to run with an uncapped frame rate because you would get coil wine inside of your GPU sometimes. People that is like a thing of the past at this point. It's like, bro, you gotta like let your stuff hang low. You gotta let it just max itself out because that's what these GPUs are doing now. The fact that my GPU isn't even being taxed, like I don't even know do you even know what was your were you even getting full utilization of your CPU?
I am.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
are?
my GPU,
Yeah, not your
yes.
CPU, your GPU, yeah. What about your CPU?
But I think my CPU was also being CPU limited as well. So like, even though I was getting like over 99, like between 96 to 98% utilization, which is what you want to see.
Yeah, right.
I think my CPU it's not like top of the line, but it's no slouch.
Right.
I think my CPU was a little overburdened.
Do you have like particle effects and everything turned on?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I got all that stuff.
You got all that stuff turned on, okay.
Right. And so like I've been kind of tinkering a little bit. I'm now back to playing it at 4K. And I've been kind of tinkering a little bit, but basically I'm playing above 60. Like I'm averaging, I don't go below 60, but I don't want to play Borderlands at 60 FPS.
Not with like, a 4080?
No, so I'm like I've made some settings tweaks, but there's just only so much that you can do.
Yeah.
And the game's not optimized well. You can't make you don't have the tools here to get the performance that you want to get. It's just not possible. So that's it. I am going to keep playing it. I am enjoying it. I shout out to Mooch. Mooch is going to be playing it with me tomorrow. I got some other friends that I played back in the day. All we did was used to play Borderlands. They're hyped for it. I know I saw one of them playing today, and we're supposed to be playing some this weekend. So my intention is that on my own, I use the Siren, which I've been currently using. Like I said, I'm at level 13 or 14.
Game looks so good, bro.
With Mooch, I'm gonna use a different character, and with my friends from my homies, I'll be using another character because there's 4. So and I always with Borderlands I end up pretty much using all of them. Right. Couple things. Okay, so another performance issue that I noticed. So I see some traversal stutter. So which is different than shader cache stutter. So shader cache stutter with Unreal Engine, because this is an Unreal Engine 5 game, which is Unreal Engine 5 just isn't a great engine. Really, we just gotta keep it a buck, But a lot of people, I've seen some reviews on Steam calling this game Stutterlands instead of Borderlands. And I have not seen like shader cache stutter, which is when you get that, it's pretty annoying because it shows up every time there's like a new animation, new enemy type, a new cutscene or whatever. Your first run through it, this is what happens in Fortnite after an update. You just get a lot of like stuttering when the game is trying to do something that it needs to recall the shaders that it needs to get that done and out of storage, and then it just takes some time, and then it causes performance issues. Traversal stutter is a little different. It's when it's loading in the next area that you're coming into, and it's trying to make it seamless, but the game engine is so unoptimized that like your CPU can't write these new instructions for the GPU to render without causing a stutter,
right,
to be seen. I've been seeing the latter and not the former. I've seen traversal stutter, but I haven't seen shader cache stutter, which is, hey, not the best. But the bigger issue that I've noticed is a memory leak.
Mm.
And so when I was playing in the stream, and when I dropped it down to 1440p, I saw my VRAM usage go from 15 gigs, the 16 that I have on my 4080 Super, down to 12.
Dang.
Right. And then as I started to play more, I started to notice it was starting to climb. Then I saw it at 13. And by the time I was about to end the stream, it was at nearly 14. It did get over 14. 14 gigs. And I'm like, so it just climbed 2 gigs of VRAM in like 10 minutes? 10, 15 minutes? It's gotta be a memory leak. So that's a problem that I hope they fixed. I know there were some people were like the CEO, Randy Pitchford, was talking about, hey, this day one patch is going to fix everything. I think what he was talking about was for consoles, and I don't know about console performance. I don't know how it's running on the Xbox or the PS5. My only experience, the only thing I've seen so far is PC performance. I have seen some people saying that it runs great on the PS5, but these people are not people that are honest about anything when it comes to performance, because they're platform cappers. So I don't know for certain if they're telling the truth in that.
Right.
We'll just have to see later. Maybe what Randy Pitchford was talking about, a day one patch, had to do with the consoles, because yesterday it was available for PC players. I installed it. I have looked at my additional downloads since then. I've had no updates for Borderlands 4. So if there's a day one patch, it must have came with the initial install of the PC version. And so this is basically the best we're going to get as of now until they make some fixes in the future, hopefully. Forte, I got some bad news.
What's the news?
And I almost don't want to tell you, because I feel like it's going to guarantee that you're not going to play this game anytime soon.
Oh, Lord, what is it?
So you know how I didn't know this personally. I didn't see this personally. I did watch, shout out to Eric's Gaming. I was watching their impressions of this game. What's the guy's name? 369, I think. And
369.
I forgot the other gentleman's name, but like they were discussing it. He said something that completely threw me for a loop, and I could not believe that this was something that either I missed it, or all the content creators that have been previewing it missed it. And maybe it would make sense considering a lot of them were playing the game solo, so they didn't get a chance to see it. But with the review copies that Eric's Gaming had, and they were playing together, Forte, progress in the campaign is not shared.
What? What are they doing?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So basically you have to play, it has to be your instance in order for your game to, so if anybody so your game is your game, and if anybody wants to play with you, they have to like basically acquiesce to the fact that they're not going to make any progress, and none of their stuff is going to be saved to their character.
Well, progress.
Well, your
character
leveling stuff
like
will
that.
carry.
Yeah,
but not the progression in the story. Yeah,
but the progression in the story does not.
So you'll have to go. So if we play for 3.5, 4 hours and get like a whole bunch of stuff done, when I go back to play on my character, I got to redo all that stuff all over again.
Yeah.
That is so stupid, man.
Look, I used to praise Borderlands for doing that right. Remember when Remnant came out, and I was mad that they weren't doing that, and I was like, in Borderlands, they do it right.
They get it.
Look, in the previous Borderland games, if I joined Forte and we were further along in the story than I currently was at, right? And I go back to my game and I'm doing stuff that I hadn't done yet, but I didn't do with Forte. When I get to the part where I've already done this with Forte, a pop-up screen will come up and say, hey, you've already done this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to skip to the parts that you haven't done? I used to love that.
Yep.
I'm like, that thoughtfulness of you don't need to do this again. You already did it.
You already
Go
did
on
it.
ahead. Skip ahead 2 or 3 missions and get to the parts that you haven't done.
That's wild, bro.
How do you go backwards? Oh my gosh. Gregor says that I thought story progress was shared, but map discovery isn't. From what I heard from Eric's, and hey, look, maybe I misheard. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But from what they said is that it was story progress that wasn't shared. And they specifically, and maybe it could have been a bug that needed to get fixed. I will know for certain starting tomorrow when I play with some people I know. And I will join them with a brand new character. And if when I get into my world, if my game after doing that and all that stuff I have to do it over again, then we'll know for certain that it wasn't a bug. But that's what Eric's Gaming has said. And I'm not saying they're liars or anything. They're usually on top of these kind of things. So I trust what they speak on. But I'm hoping it's a bug, because it just makes no sense for them to go backwards and that kind of stuff. Map discovery I'm fine with that. In your own map, you have to unlock fast travel stations because you did that in someone else's map. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The story progress, and now that I think about it, maybe that's why they didn't give you the story progress, because unlocking. So Forte, you have these outposts on the map, and you need to go take over the outpost. So you'll go in, you'll kill all the enemies that's there, and then you'll maybe go fetch something that's in the environment, take it there, you'll turn on the network, and then now it's your outpost. And then from there, kind of like the Division, when you take over a checkpoint in the Division, you'll see your own soldiers there and everything. You'll see your allies just kind of milling about, just kind of on guard and security, looking around, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, because they did it like that, and that if you did story missions and you kept the story progress, but you didn't get the outpost, it's like, how do you do these other quests that you may have already unlocked if you haven't actually on your map talked to the people who may give you a quest to unlock? You haven't opened up that area of the map on in your world. I guess it gets messy, right?
Right.
But I feel like that's something that they should have made sure to figure out. Because not having that as a step back, and sure, it's not, previous Borderlands games weren't open world, so you wouldn't really ever encounter this kind of situation in a Borderlands 3 or Borderlands 2. But I would say, what's more important? The experience of how people enjoy Borderlands, or this aspect of the game design that you wanted to do? Because I would say how people enjoy Borderlands is more important. I haven't told my boys about this yet, because this is going to piss them off. I know 2 of them in particular that I am fairly certain are going to say, F this game, I'm not getting it. Because they're not going to want to do they play Borderlands with me and my other friend, but my other friend plays it like I play it. Well, he'll beat the game like 3 or 4 times. So it doesn't matter to him. He'll have all the Vault Hunters leveled up. So it doesn't matter to him whether he gets, story progress or not, just as long as the levels that he picked up and the gear he picked up in someone else's world is still there. Which is,
right.
It's annoying for him and for me, but we'll deal with it. But the problem is that the other 2 guys aren't going to deal with it.
Right.
And that becomes an issue where, like, you, me, and Luca went through Remnant, but as you know, we beat that campaign 3 times.
We sure did. Everybody, we rotated each other's playthrough until we all did everything in the game.
Yeah,
all the way through the DLC.
Oh, but here we go, right? As we got to the DLCs, we did the first DLC 3 different times, and I could feel it.
Yep. Yeah, I remember.
It kind of felt like it's starting to get a little tedious.
Yep, and we did it on Lucas. We did the second DLC only through Lucas.
Yep, because we just did not feel like doing this again 2 more times.
Yep.
And so I feel like you just, in order to achieve a certain level of game design that you were looking for, you hurt the actual Borderlands experience. Because this is a co-op game. This is a true co-op looter shooter. People play this with friends. It's intended to be played with friends. I do it both because I love looters. So I'll play it by myself. But it's always been designed with the intention of playing with friends. Like, you just can't. I mean, you can, but it hurts the experience when it feels like the story progress is not being shared. And then imagine like all the story beats that you may see, maybe a character dying or a big reveal or whatever. It don't hit the same way the 3rd time you do that. So yeah, that's all I got on it. Anything else you want to say about this?
No, man, you spit on that one. I mean, you're right. I mean, at a certain point, unless you are a person that is willing to like go at it, especially in these type of co-op games, because even a game like Destiny, where we would getting people to run through content again after they already did it. And that was a game that it was built for you to do it. Like, you ran the same stuff over and over and over again. But that's why we always you're supposed to do that. But then after you got so far away from that content, like, you was like, oh, one of your friends would come in and be like, hey, let's run you through it. Now, you would do it for certain people because you're like, we want to, get them a good experience. We want them to stick with the game. So sometimes you would just go ahead and just jump in and do it. But even then, it got to the point like, man, you're like 3 DLCs behind. I ain't trying to do that no more. I did that content. That took 8 hours to get through. Can you imagine in a game like Borderlands where you already are probably 75% through the game, you really have to like a person in order to go into their game and be like, okay, you know what? I'll do it with you because you my friend and I want to, and I like the game enough to do that. I know SloMo would do that for me because he likes the game, but there's not too many other games out there that he'll be like, well, listen, bro, you should have bought that game day one.
So Miko says on their website, it says it has it. Miko, are you specifically saying shared story progress? That's what it says on their website. So he said it may have been a bug. Okay, so if this is what we saw from another content creator, that this was a bug, then the past 5 minutes, don't worry about it. But if this is something that, if you're interested in Borderlands 4 and you were interested in playing with, say, your significant other or your friends or whatever, and that is a deal breaker, look into that a little bit further before you decide to go down that route. I'm gonna look into it a little bit further as well, because I did only see it from that specific source. They are pretty good at those kind of things. They didn't say it was I think they may have insinuated it may have been a bug, but they seem pretty definitive that was the case. Miko says he DM'd me the link, so give me a second and I will. Okay, let's see here. Appreciate that, Miko. Let's see if I can find where it talks about that. Okay, here we go. Don't be afraid to alternate between solo and co-op play. Borderlands has always been known for its best-in-class support of both solo and co-op play, and Borderlands 4 makes freely switching between them more accessible and seamless than ever. You can expect the same drop-in, drop-out, individually balanced multiplayer experience, and progress made in another player's game will be recognized upon loading back into your own, with the option to skip the content you've played if you'd like. Okay.
That's all I need. That's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear. Okay. That's all I need to hear.
That must then now talking about bugs. My session has been somewhat bug free. I've had a couple of issues. This seems like this is a bug where this isn't working well. So I'll do a little bit more investigating to see if other people have experience with Eric's gaming and then we're experiencing. Because if so, this is like that seamless progress isn't working the way they intended it to, and they need to fix that. Because what you don't want is for people to think it's working, and then you go back into your world and you just did like 3 story missions, and none of that progress has carried over or you get credit for. So
right.
We'll put a pin in this. We'll discuss this next week, so that we can kind of like update you guys on where that is. But that doesn't, if it's a bug, it doesn't really surprise me, considering I wouldn't call the game buggy, but I have noticed some bugs. So the first bug I noticed was actually during my stream, where I got my first skill point. It told me I had leveled up and I just got my first skill point, and I tried to add the skill point and it said I had no skill points.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, wait, but it said I had the skill point because I just leveled up. I just hit level 5. Why do I not have a skill point there? And so I was like, whatever, I'll just keep playing. I kept playing for maybe like 10 more minutes. I looked, like the next time I went into my menu, I saw the little icon over skills. Now I have the skill point. So it just like it showed up later for some reason, for whatever reason, right? Not a super big deal on that one. But the other one was a bit annoying. So earlier today I was playing, and they give you bounties. So when you unlock an outpost, you will have this board of bounties and side missions that you can do in the region around that outpost. There was a particular bounty for a particular boss called Deep State, which is hilarious, right? His name is Deep State. And so I went to the area to kill Deep State, and I encountered a whole group of enemies, which makes sense because a lot of the times when you fight bosses, there's a whole slew of enemies all around them trying to kill you as well. I killed all those enemies, but Deep State was nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally went like 10 minutes searching around, like maybe I missed something. I don't know. And I even reloaded the game, went back there, and the boss still didn't show up. So that's a bug that needs to get fixed, because this boss is not appearing when they're supposed to be appearing in the areas that you're supposed to go to fight them. So that's not surprised that progress isn't carrying over correctly if they can't even get bosses to come out. So anything else you want to say on Borderlands before we move on to the last topic?
Nope, that is it. You gotta talk me into it, SloMo. I'm on the edge. I just performance, man. You know how I am.
Yeah. We'll see. I'll get you over the edge. Last topic of tonight, Nintendo Direct. We had
Yes.
Nintendo Direct today. It was a pretty significant Direct. Had a lot to discuss there. I'll briefly go over a few things, and then we can discuss. Forte, you did see it, right? Forte?
Say it
I think I
again. You
lost
broke up. No, you broke up.
I,
What
I
did you
said
say?
I said you did see the Direct,
Yeah, I
right?
saw it. Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, so a lot of games were shown. I would say the reaction to it seems to be somewhat mixed among the people that I saw that saw it. They said a lot of what they saw didn't really interest them. And that's how it is for me on every single Nintendo Direct except for this one because
Except for this
it's
one.
particularly something
It got you to buy a
interests me.
system.
Right. So we had the confirmed release date of Metroid Prime 4. It's going to be December 4th of this year. We got they talked about the next Super Mario movie, Super Mario Galaxy, is coming out next year, and they confirmed the return of all the voice actors from the first movie coming back, and then after that they talked about a Super Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition coming next year as well. They had some expansions and updates for 2 Pokemon games. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment coming in March of 2026. What else is there's ports Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 from the Wii coming to Switch in October next month. There's a DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza came out today. We had a very odd thing. They have a replica Virtual Boy coming out. Literally the worst Nintendo console ever. It's an accessory for the Switch, and you can also play original Virtual Boy games through Switch Online for whatever reason. I don't know why anyone would want to do that.
Why would want to do that?
Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate will be out on the Switch 2 and also likely Xbox, but that wasn't announced today, but you can expect it to happen. But that will be out on Switch 2 January 22nd. So, and then for those who are not aware, Remake Integrate is Final Fantasy VII Remake with the intermission DLC, which is roughly like a good 5 or 6 hour DLC that features Yuffie included. So you get both of those together. Square also off screen made an announcement on social media that the third and final installment of the remake trilogy will be coming to all platforms as well. Now, although they did not specify if they mean day and date at launch on all platforms, just that it's coming to all platforms. So that's at least that's something that people can say, hey, we don't need to wonder about that. But the big thing, the one more thing, and I think Nintendo figured it was a big thing too, because they made it the last game shown. They knew they said, you know what?
Here we go.
We can't get this SloMoBackSlap guy to buy a Nintendo Switch. Doesn't matter what we do. We provide all these unoptimized trash Pokemon games. He don't care. We show Mario Tennis, Mario Party, Mario taking a dump, like it doesn't matter. He doesn't care. Metroid Prime 4, we've shown 20 million times. He doesn't care. What can we do to get him to buy a Nintendo Switch 2? Oh, let's look at his Switch profile. Oh, he just plays Fire Emblem. Well, let's give him a Fire Emblem. And not just any Fire Emblem. We're going to give him a beautiful looking Fire Emblem. We're going to give him one that looks fan-freaking-tastic. And at the very end, we're going to throw in a character that he remembered from Three Houses.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting on her throne. Yeah. So, if y'all recall, I've been saying this since the thing launched. I'm not buying a Switch 2 until I see Fire Emblem. not old Fire Emblem, from a Game Boy Advance brought back for a Nintendo Switch. I mean, a brand new Fire Emblem. And guess what I got? A brand new Fire Emblem. It almost feels like a dream. I don't know. So I bought a Switch 2. Got it from Best Buy. Got it today. Got the bundle with Mario Kart World, so I got Mario Kart World there. It's already kind of came pre-installed with it, I guess, because it's just there. It's pretty seamless to log in and everything. I installed 3 houses, as you know I would. I did do a little testing of 3 houses because I've been playing through the Blue Lion route, and in the monastery, where on the Switch 1, where the frame rate is like a yo-yo, it's actually pretty stable. I mean, it's only 30 FPS because it's a locked frame rate for that game, unfortunately, but it's pretty stable. And I haven't played anything else because there's really nothing else I want to play on it. But I will say, because I was using on the Switch 1, I was using the 8-Bit Do Ultimate 2 controller, which is like the best controller that you can use on a Nintendo Switch. I just had to do a firmware update. It works on the Switch 2 as well. It won't wake it up, but it does kind of sync seamlessly with the Switch 2. You just gotta, weirdly enough, when you hold the power button to turn the controller on, you gotta also hold the X button at the same time. But you do that and you're all set. And it's fantastic because I have it connected with the dongle. I have installed Fortnite, so I could do some testing, some a shooting kind of game on it when I'm ready. But no, got myself a Switch 2. I did what I said I was going to do.
Congratulations.
SloMo 1. Got what I wanted.
Nintendo
Forte.
one. They knew they was gonna get you at some point. They knew they gonna get you this year because they had that in their back pocket.
10 toes down. I said, you ain't get the dime from me until I get Fire Emblem from you, or at least an announcement, because they ain't coming out till next year. But next year, I'll be playing, some new stuff on it finally. I'll be playing Fortune's Weave, which is the name of this new Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, which looks fantastic. And also the Dust Bloods, which is the From Software game that seems to be timed exclusive to the Switch 2. So I'll be playing that as well. So I got some things to play in the future. There's something to look forward to, and imagine that a company makes exclusive content for a platform, and I buy it.
Let's
Shocker. Forte, what were your thoughts on that Nintendo Direct?
It hit hard, bro. The moment I saw, the funny thing is, the moment I saw Fire Emblem, I was gonna text you, but you already had it out there. I was like, oh dang, he beat me to it. I couldn't believe, because I didn't watch it at the moment. I don't know if you watched it like at the moment of it happening. I watched it like a couple hours after.
I was a little behind. I got caught up because I was skipping past all the crap I didn't care about,
right? Which is a lot.
Yeah. So, but I started because of work. I started a little late, but once I started to get caught up, I was like, oh, okay, all right. Then by the time they showed Fire Emblem, I was completely caught up. So I was excited about that.
Yeah.
In real time.
So the funny thing is, there's a like you said, there was a lot of things shown there, not a lot for everybody. Fire Emblem was definitely one of the highlights, but the biggest highlight was Metroid Prime 4. The fact that it's coming out December 4th. Everybody was like, dude, there's not enough months left in this year. When are you gonna talk about it? And I knew it was coming out this year. A lot of people just didn't think Nintendo would release it in December, but y'all kind of forget that it's Nintendo and they can kind of do whatever they want when it comes to games like, their tentpole titles. They can release in December and it's not going to hurt them. So that game's coming out in December, which is really, really cool. December 4th to be exact. the fact that they're doing
Yeah, they don't care about releasing stuff in December. Remember when they released Smash Bros?
Yeah, Smash Brothers in December.
Yeah,
one of the most sold games they had too. So they know what games they can do that with and get away with. And the thing was, a lot of people just didn't know because Pokemon comes out in November, and the fact that they're already talking they're already talking about paid DLC for Pokemon ZA, and they're talking about paid DLC for Donkey Kong. And I was like, yo, listen, they out here getting everybody. And then they're out here that Virtual Boy got me though. I was like, bro, they are what I saw while I was watching the trailer, and I was like, Virtual Boy, how are you supposed to play these games? And then on the screen pops a peripheral, and I was like, yo, they are not gonna come out with an actual peripheral for this, and they did. And they did, and it's cool because you can put the console inside of it. It's wild the things that Nintendo can do and the things they'll get away with, and the fact that those games you can't even buy those games. Those games are inside of the family plan that you have to be subscribed to. So
who wants to buy those games? Let's just keep it a buck.
Like, so, yeah, right. But the fact that you got to buy the peripheral to work though, which is crazy.
Is Nintendo.
It's Nintendo.
I remember, and this is going to show our age, right? Do you remember when Virtual Boy came out?
I do.
It was laughed at. I remember.
Never even thought about buying it either. I didn't even ask my mom or dad.
I remember if I was in middle school or high school. I can't remember what year it came out. I just remember like seeing, like, I think Nintendo must have had some deal with Blockbuster, because Blockbuster employees was just practically begging people to try it. They even literally, I remember going to Blockbuster, and at Blockbuster, it had to been, it wasn't high school because I was there with my mom, and I was young, and I remember
Virtual Boy released in August 14th, 1995. That was my freshman. That was my freshman year in high school.
Okay, I was in high school. Okay, never mind, I was in high school. But I remember being in Blockbuster and seeing they had the Virtual Boy on the counter for people to try. So like you go up there with your movie and they're like, hey, why don't you try Nintendo Virtual Boy? And people was like, no, I'm good. It was just there to try out. And I remember sticking my head in that thing, and the Mario Tennis looked dumb. And everything was red, and I was just like, this sucks, man. I don't want this. I don't want it. And I remember like they're charging how much for this? Virtual Boy bombed. It bombed worse than the Wii U. The Wii U only sold like 13 million units. I don't think the Virtual Boy sold more than 1 million units. No, I think it probably was less.
It's right here. It says Nintendo released the console as their attempt at 3D gaming, but the device was a commercial failure, selling only about 770,000 units before being discontinued in early 1996.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. That thing. I remember being in school. If you bought that,
you ain't getting
gonna get clowned.
You ain't getting no booty, bro. Like, what?
Yeah, if you had a freaking Virtual Boy, people was gonna look at you like you.
What is that?
What are those?
What are those?
That's the old school. What are those? Right.
Right.
Nah. I was just shocked that they brought. When I saw it, I was like, Virtual Boy. Like as I was like skimming to get caught up. I think I just got caught up when they were showing it. And I was just like, is that the Virtual Boy?
Right, bro.
Why? Like,
I don't.
Why would you do? Well, whatever. Right.
Guess what? You know what? It may sell more than that on the Switch too. It might because people, I don't know, man. But that was funny. Outside of that, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, definitely picking that up. Picking up Mario Galaxy 1 and 2.
I think I'm gonna buy. I saw something that said that Cyberpunk was on sale on the Switch too. I think I'm gonna get Cyberpunk on there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I ain't buy it yet. I just checked it out from work. I think it was played it.
I think it was the Cyberpunk Twitter account said it was on like 15% off.
Yourself, slow-mo. Don't do that to yourself.
But like, you know, I man, you know, Cyberpunk on the go. You know, even though I have a Steam Deck.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Why would you do that? Because guess what? Slow-mo's gonna buy this and he's gonna make a meme out of it. He's gonna be like, hey, you guys wanted to play Cyberpunk on this weak piece of crap. Even though
that'd be $60 well spent.
Mario Galaxy Movie 2 coming out. That was actually I didn't even expect that. Did you like the first Mario movie, or did you even see
the
one with Chris Pratt? Yeah.
You know, Peaches. My kids were singing that song for like a month.
Everybody's kids were singing that song for like a month. It didn't quite hit. It didn't hit the Let It Go from Frozen level of
but it was good. It was good.
It was good though. But yeah, when I saw it, I was like, oh cool, let's go. I'm actually more excited to see the Mario Galaxy movie than play the Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. But I am going to pick up Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. It's crazy that they're charging you $70 for those two games. It should be like 50. But
of course it should be. But
it should be 50 Nintendo for those two games, but it's Nintendo. But yeah, the biggest one that I was like super excited for was getting the release date for Metroid, and then I might actually buy Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate. I might buy that on the Switch too. Because I think it will actually be. On the Switch too. But you're going to buy Cyberpunk.
Yeah. So I'm going to play Cyberpunk.
You go buy Cyberpunk on it, but you won't buy.
I should buy it right now.
You won't buy the freaking Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I should grab that thing and buy Cyberpunk right now.
You should. You should definitely do that. And while you're at it, you should log in and buy whatever Resident Evil games they got on there, since 7 Village and Requiem is coming to it too.
I'm actually thinking about I might put the dock for the Switch 2 in the living room where the kids are normally hang out at, so they could like maybe they're probably going to, because like I have Mario Kart World on it. And yes, sir. I don't play Mario Kart, but they enjoy Mario Kart 8 on their little Switch lights. Yeah. So I might do that so they can and then when I want to use it, I'll just use it in handheld. So it's not there, for them to break, because they're kids, right? So I don't know, but I'm gonna buy Cyberpunk.
You gonna buy Cyberpunk?
I'm gonna buy Cyberpunk so I can play it at 30 FPS and be like, ew.
Ew.
And then I can play it docked at 40 FPS and be like, ew. Yeah.
Ew. with stretched out textures on the screen.
I know. Apparently, something I do want to test out with this is that NVIDIA did the APU for the Switch 1 and Switch 2. And the Switch 2, I think, what architecture is that? It's not Ampere. It's what was the 2000 series architecture called?
2000 was called Jesus. What was it? Ampere.
It's like right on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I can't see.
It'll come back to me, but it's basically like a 2000 series, RTX 2000 series APU with DLSS light. So it's like a not quite the full like DPS. Let's say DPS, DLSS that you would get on, say, your NVIDIA GPU, or even your laptop that has an NVIDIA GPU in it.
Ada. But it was called Ada
version.
It was called Ada.
I think that's right.
I think it was called Ada. I believe it was called Ada.
Now I'm about to
Or
look
was it
up,
called?
'cause-
Wait. Was it called? It started with a C.
Are you sure?
I think it was called. It started with a C.
I'm gonna look it up now.
I think it was
I'm gonna ask.
Ada.
I don't think it's Ada, man.
I think it was called Ada. I know the cells was it
Touring. It's Touring.
Touring. I thought that was the 10th gen Touring.
What is 10th gen? I don't even know.
I swear
RTX
10th gen was
2000.
Touring.
RTX 2000 series. It's and then the GTX 1000 series. That was called Pascal.
Pascal. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well. Okay. Yeah. You're right. It was Pascal. Because they were. Yeah.
And then 3000 series is that is Ampere.
Ampere.
And then 4000 series is Lovelace.
Yep. Lovelace.
And I guess 5000 series is called Dumpster Juice.
Dumpster Juice. We're changing everything. Dang, that's right. It was called Pascal. Yeah, for some reason, yeah, you're right. Yeah, Turing. Yeah, that's definitely what 2080 Supers, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Remember those things used to cost $2,000 and then look where they are now. That's why, think about it, man. The money we spend, if you sit there and you really think about the money we spend on this hardware,
the 2080 Super? That wasn't 2000.
It was like a $1,600. It was like a $1,500 GPU.
Nah, not MSRP.
well, we know.
MSRP. So we had
MSRP is completely different than what they come out at though later on.
Okay, so we had a 2080, then we had a 2080 Super,
and 2080
then we had the 2080 Ti, and the 2080 Ti was $800, and people freaked out.
Yeah, but could you actually find a 2080 Ti for $800? Was it like 12?
No, you're getting the generations confused. The 3000 series.
No, 3000 series they actually had reasonable prices though.
No,
because I remember that's the one.
Confused.
No. I remember 3000 being the one where everybody championed them mostly for having a generation where they thought they were going to blow the lid off, but they had reasonable GPUs outside of the 3090. The 3090 was like the 1600 or something, wasn't it? Or 1500?
The 3000 series is when they tried to give you a fake 38. No. They had to give you a real 38. The 4000 series they tried to give you a fake 4080.
They tried to give you a fake 4080, right?
They gave you a 10 gigabyte 3080 and a 12 gigabyte.
12 gigabyte 3080. They gave you two different ones.
And I think those were $800. It was like
it might be the supers that kind of take it out
one
of.
May have been 1,000, I think. So no, the 3090 was $1,200.
Okay, then the Ti came out and which was 16,
and that was 2,000.
That was See, that's what kids. That's the thing that always throws it off because you always think about those higher end ones, but they don't come out until later.
Yeah, that 3090 Ti.
Think about $2,000 for that thing, bro. You can get it for what? $600-$700 now.
Yeah, and which was wild because like it retailed for $2,000, and then before the 4000 series came out, they discounted its retail price all the way down to like I think $1,200, and it pissed people off who had just bought one.
Yep,
so
because they were trying to clear
just bought 3090 Ti, and you bought it for $2,000, and then 2 months later they're selling them for $1,200. Some people were sick over that. That's when I got my 3080 Ti because the 3080 Ti I think was at $1,200.
I was still sitting on the 30. I was on my 3070 Ti at that point.
Yeah, and then they dropped the price of the 3080 Ti because they were trying to get rid of because them cards weren't selling because they were too expensive.
Yeah, they were way too expensive.
Value.
Yeah,
and then they dropped the 3080 Ti down to $800. And that's when I jumped on it. When it was $800.
Yeah, you got it from Best. You got it from Best Buy. I remember.
Right, yeah. And then I eventually sold that when I got the 4080 Super, but I didn't get the 4080 Super that was at retailed at $1,200. But I didn't touch that until it got down to $1,000, and then I used like gift cards and the sale of the 3080 Ti to pay for that. Basically, I didn't pay anything really,
Right.
for my current 4080 Super. But yeah, man, let's get up out of here, man. We just talking about GPU.
We're just talking about GPUs, man. Let's get out of here.
Oh, wait a minute now. Glintstone says,
yeah, I see it.
Dustin just dropped the Ally Xbox X, $550, and the Ally X, $900 confirmed by Best Buy. I think those are the prices that were rumored.
Yeah, they were.
Let's take a look if
is it on their website now or.
Yeah, well, he said Destin.
Oh, Destin.
I guess Destin, formerly of Destin Legary, formerly of IGN, is speaking on this. He said he's got an exclusive Xbox Ally prices are here and it's cheaper than you think. Confirmed by his local Best Buy. How did he get his local Best Buy to confirm it? Let me go to the Best Buy website, see if if I can get a price up. I don't know how that's exclusive. If he's been confirmed by, I mean, maybe he heard it from a source and then Best Buy confirmed. He was able to confirm that price with Best Buy from someone who's looking at things in the back end or something. I don't know, but anywho, Forte, what do you got going on for the rest of the week?
We're gonna do another stream. Not gonna say what day because then I'll forget. But that will happen next week. Probably jumping some Borderlands. Just depends on if SloMo could talk me into buying it this week. And
is the Best Buy website not working for you? I can't get it to come up.
Actually, it's a
pre-orders. Okay, I don't know why it took forever to come up.
Well, this is also Apple pre-order weekend too.
Yeah, I see they have pre-orders for
the new Apple product,
Apple Watch, Apple Watch Series 11. Man, I got my SE. My SE is just fine. I don't need no daggone. I don't need no new Apple Watch. I do like. Did you hear that their new AirPods can translate different languages for you?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was talking to Luca about this. The new AirPod Pros can translate different languages for you in your ear, which I think is. I almost wonder how. Did we lose you guys? I think I had some drop frames. Let me double check things.
What do you think is going to happen?
Still good.
What do you think is going to happen with the old ROG X and stuff when the new Xbox one comes? I think you're going to see like
I think they
drop in
will,
price on those.
I think they will continue. I think they will discontinue the current ones that are out now. Like you can still buy them, the ones that they still have the supply for, but they're not going to manufacture new ones.
Right. Yeah, that's what I kind of think too.
And they may probably discount them to kind of get them out, quicker. Because currently, right now, that the ROG Ally X is $900, and this Xbox ROG Ally X is supposed to be $900. It has a Z2 Extreme chip in it, and the regular ROG Ally X has a Z1 Extreme chip in it, I believe. Like that's a significant upgrade, and you're not going to sell many of the regular one to get them all out of stock at the same price as this new one. That's just like if they're both $900, I'm just going to buy the one that's more powerful. Like if I'm an informed customer, of course, right? So They probably will discount it to get rid of excess stock and then just not make any more of them.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. That's what I would do.
BladeX says the old AirPod Pro 2s can do the same thing. Interesting. I just want to see how that works. I just kind of just want to be like, put them in and then have someone speak like a different language at me. Mostly when I go into Chinese carryout, you know, because I kind of feel like they'd be like,
Chinese you think they be out here like talking bad about?
Yeah, like, look at this big black man over here. Think because he's tall that he can just order whatever. Like I want to hear in my ear, like Siri in my ear. Translation: big stupid black man thinks he can just order General Tso's chicken and get special order. Like I'm like, hey,
hey.
I heard what you said.
I ain't deaf.
Miko says it'll come to the last pros via firmware update, I believe. Right. Yeah, of course they'll do that. Like they may even delay the firmware update for the older ones a month or so. Try to get people in.
That's true.
Yeah, Chinese carry out. You go to the DMV and people be all around you speaking all kinds of different languages. I wonder how much it can handle. Or if you could just say, "Hey Siri, translate this." I don't know.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to test it out. I don't think it's worth spending. AirPod Pros cost at least $200, right? They're like at least $200.
$200.
Why is I said Siri too many times because my phone started pulling up languages.
Oh yeah, when you're talking and stuff, and the phone be like, "Listen."
Right. Mind your business, Siri. How about that? 250 BladeX says. Yeah, that's I'm not that rich where I just buy stuff out of curiosity. Like,
are you sure you do buy a lot of
curiosity?
Stuff. You do be buying a lot of stuff out of just curiosity.
Yeah, but I'm not. I can't justify $250 just to test out basically Google Translation working through AirPods, and they're probably janky or gets the translation wrong. Like, yeah, I'm not spending $250 for that. Gregor says Google's been doing that for years. Of course they have. Anything that Apple implements has been done on Android and Google for like at least half a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Soyotech. We're not gonna repeat that. I don't think people gonna understand what that means. That's a Discord conversation. Anyway, we're gonna get up out of here. For myself, I will definitely be streaming more Borderlands 4. If not tomorrow, then on Sunday. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Play some games out here and play Fire Emblem Three Houses, man. I recommend you play Fire Emblem Three Houses. Not just play it, enjoy it, and then come back and say, SloMo, you were right. Fire Emblem Three Houses is fire. And if you play it, do the Blue Lions first, okay? You'll understand what's that once you get into it. Blue Lions first, then Black Eagle twice, you understand once you play it, and then Golden Deer at the end. And you will be like, this is an epic, amazing experience. And by the time you finish all that, Fortune's Weave will be out. All right, we're out. Peace, guys. Take care.
Peace out, guys.